Hey guys, welcome back to our project. In the last part we have implemented this email section in the back end, and now it's time to implement this in front end. So basically we are going to create this component, and this is really simple. So let's go to our front end, go to our client folder, and then inside this client folder let's create a component. So inside this components let's create a new file which is email form.tsx. Fine. So let's create a functional component rfc. Nice. I'll get the id as the property, so id, just destructure this. Also set the type of this id, so just use functional component. This email form is a functional component, should be auto imported. Fine. Inside this generic just define the id, I mean the type of the id, which is a string. Cool. Now inside this div let's put a h3 which says you can send your file directly through email. You can send the file through mail. You can also send the file. Cool. And then after this h3 I'll put a form. Let's use the emit, and then inside this form I'll have two input, so input into 2 and then a button. Fine. Oops, what happened? And then just press tab. Nice. So the form has no action, but it has a class name, so just use this multi-cursor and use class name for all the elements. Cool. I'll add this later. And then the input type is email, so this is email, not email, email. In the placeholder for the first one, this is something like email from, or in capital, and the second one is email to, the sender's email and the receiver's email, and both the field is required, so again just use required using the multi-cursor. Fine. I'm also gonna create the state, so just use this onChange function which will trigger an arrow function using this event, and that will set the state. So let's say the name of the state is email from. I have not created the state yet. I'm gonna create this in a minute. So just set the value as e.target.value. That's it. And then the value is, we have done a lot of stuff. The value is email from. The second one should be email to, so just use email to. Nice. And then the button which has a text email. Fine. Let's create the states. Let me just close this terminal. Fine. So use state should be auto imported. The first state is email from, and the initial value is null. Import the use state. Cool. Just duplicate this. The second one is this email to, so email to. Fine. Save this. Cool. And now all the errors are gone. I'm also going to create a state which will hold our response message. So this is not email to, this is message, like email is sent, or something went wrong, or the email is already sent. I have not implemented a feature for the email is already sent. I need to do that in the refactoring part. Anyway, so set message, this is also null. Let's make this null. Cool. So that's it for now. I need to style this form. Before that, let's render this component. So let's go to the index page or home page. Cool. So I have this email form here inside this div, so just remove this comment and render this email form. Why is it not giving me suggestion? I have not exported this or what? Now I have exported this, then why it is not giving me suggestion? Email form. Cool. Let's go to index page, email form. What the heck? Just manually import this. Something went wrong. I don't know what it is. So this should be email form from email form, and there is no error. It means it is good. And now there is a TypeScript related error, and that is because I have not passed the ID. So just pass the ID, which is the ID. Fine. And by the way guys, I have this ID stored in my state variable. This one, this ID and the state ID, which I got using this handle upload function. Anyway, and now let's see My backend is also running, so let me just upload a file. This one, upload, and yeah, I have my form. So let's design this. Just go to the email form component and add some Tailwind. I love Tailwind. So just go to this wrapper div and add class name. This should be a flex container. The flex direction should be column. Items horizontally centered, so item center, and then justify content also center. With full, I'll add padding around 2 units, and then space between the items is around 3 units, so space y3. That's it for this div. Just copy all these classes. I also need these classes for this form, so just use these classes inside this class name, cool. And then this input, so just use multi-cursor for this inputs. You can also use Tailwind components. So first of all, I'll add padding around 1 unit, and then the text color should be white, background gray, the weight is 700 or 800. Just add a border, so border 2 pixel, the color should be white by default, and on focus I don't want any outline, so outline none on focus. That's it for this input. And then I have this button, and I have already created this Tailwind component for this button, so just use button. That's it. Just save this. That's it. Also add the type of this button, which should be submit, so submit. Fine. Now just save this and let's see. Yeah, cool, nice form, huh? And now let's add the functionalities. So yeah, just go at the top. Basically I need to make an access request to the endpoint, and that will give me the response. So just use an arrow function. The name of the function is handle email. I don't need any parameters, but this function should be asynchronous, so just use async, cool. Use a try catch block, cool. Inside this try block just use axios, and that should be auto imported, yes. You just need to pass an object, which is the method is post, cool, and then URL. If I remember correctly, this is API/files/email, and then the data. So just pass an object. I just need to pass the ID and then the email from, which is a state, and the email to. And I guess you have added a validation because I forgot to add the validation. And now just destructure the data. Before that just use await because it will return promise. So const destructure the data, cool. And if it is successful, I'll set the message to the data.message, MERN data.message. And if anything goes wrong, just copy this, the set message. I'll set the message as error.data.response, which will be my response.message. Fine, save this. And now just call this function when the button is clicked. Or you can do this here, or I have used the form, so just use onSubmit on this form and pass the reference of this function. That's it. Save this, and I think everything is fine. Or not fine, I need to render this message. Yeah, where to render? After this div, yeah, after this form. So no, if I have the message, I render this message inside a span or paragraph. It's a paragraph because this is a block element. Doesn't really matter because the flex direction is column. Anyway, just render the message and then just use this cool class name, which is, hey, come on, font medium. Fine. Also make the text red, which is not needed, but text red 500. Cool. Save this, and now let's check the functionality. Just go to the email from, this is, let's say sumit123@gmail.com, and the to, this is sumit.unt. UNT means use and throw. So gmail.com, and now click on email. Oh, hey, I need to prevent the default behavior. Wow. So just go inside this handle email form, and this is because I've used the on submit, I know. So just get the event as e, and then just use e.prevent default. Cool. Yeah, let's see now. Let's also open the console so that I can see the response. Let's go to network. My browser is also slow. Anyway, just upload a file. Let's say what, a finger again. Click on upload, and the file is successfully uploaded. Let's go to Exchanger, and then email from, this is sumit123@gmail.com, and then the email to, which is sumit.unt@gmail.com. click on email and email sent. But why is not there any Exchanger request? Oh, this is because I've added a filter. Got it. So my email is sent, and now just let me check the mail. Okay, look at this at the top. I have this Sumit123 file shared with you, and this is not in my spam folder, and that is because the email is kind of valid, Sumit123. Okay, so I have this template here. Click on this go to download page, and I have my file. Click on download, and it should be downloaded. Fine. So that's it for this part. In the next part, I'm gonna refactor the project, and then I'm gonna deploy the project. So see you in the next video. Bye.